This episode contains topics that may be sensitive to some listeners. Check out the show notes for more information. Thank you for tuning in.
This is Karina Sevelin for NVBC News. This just in, a message from Kazimir von Lerkhoff, CEO of the Von Lerkhoff Mining Corporation, live from a press conference at the entrance of the copper mines.
It's a black day for all of us. I understand you are scared, but that is exactly why I have called you all here. We are extremely fortunate that no one has been seriously hurt during these unfortunate events, and we will do everything in our power to keep it this way. I don't like to call myself your boss, or superior. Terms like that would suggest that this doesn't affect me in the way it affects you. It does. I want to fill you in on what is happening. Some of you may be confused. There have been several explosions in the mines. As of today, we are unsure what caused these explosions, but rest assured that we will find out. A rumor has circulated about some kind of monster in the mines. These claims are unfounded and untrue. What is more likely is that through human error, and I don't wish to point any fingers, this accident came to be. As a prevention method, we have decided to install an extra equipment safety training mandatory for every miner. Not to fret, we will refund a part of the cost. It's important for everyone's safety that you finish this training within a moonspan. Furthermore, the unfortunate workers that are currently stuck within the mines are safe. We are in contact with them, and we are close to rescuing them. Soon, you will no longer have to worry about their safety. Such is my promise. Work will continue as usual, but make sure to pay extra attention to your superiors, as they will have extra information to ensure your safety. Thank you for your attention, your continued courage, and your continued dedication to this company. Have a rich day.
There's a rot in the heart of this city.
The new Vilirth Metropolitan warns about the dangers of a new drug overtaking the streets.
The government launched a campaign against the use of neomorphic memories.
This city's nothing but copper and visions of the past.
It's a black day for all of us.
Who doesn't dream of the times gone by?
Unsavory figures can no longer hide in the shadows.
Such is my promise.
Wake up, New Vilirth. Chapter 6. The house always wins. The blonde woman slammed the door into my foot, and a second time for good measure. Pain shot through it as I felt it bruising under the pressure. I shoved her aside and forced my way in. I took one step into the house when the click of a safety being released stopped me in my tracks.
Wait!
The same click echoed on the other side of the room, where two women stood. I raised my hands for them to see. One of the women stood tall, almost as tall as me. She too was a Dokkelfar. That must be Rhea. I had recognized her from my cousin's description. Next to her stood a human, more than 2 heads smaller. Her right hand, holding the gun, was made of metal.
I'm not here for a fight.
How kind of you.
I started to regret following them home from the Dragonfly. Perhaps I should have expected to have a gun pointed at me. This might have been a terrible idea.
I have a job for you. My name is Konstantin von Lerkov. My father owns the Von Lerkov Mining Corporation. We have been experiencing trouble.
I weighed my words. I watched their reactions closely. The small woman gripped her pistol harder, her jaw set. Something burned in her eyes that scared me.
We need your help.
You need our help? Kazimir von Lerkov needs our help.
Resinen frowned and looked me over. I didn't blame her. The von Lerkovs didn't ask for help. I didn't want to find out what my father would say if he saw my pitiful display. But I wasn't stupid. There was no use in trying to threaten these women with violence. Not that I intended to. Everyone needed something.
What kind of job?
The eyes of the short woman next to Resinen hadn't left me for a second, and the barrel of her handgun was aimed directly at my face. But her hands were shaking.
Like I said, we've been experiencing trouble in the mines. Explosions, collapses.
And now you need us to fix your problems? After you allowed all those workers to die for you!
I realized her hands weren't shaking from fear. She was angry, furious. The gun that I had dismissed as a warning sign suddenly became a threat.
Nobody has died. We are currently down there to get people out.
Bullshit. Everyone knows people are dying despite what you're paying the news to say.
I clenched and unclenched my hands. They were clammy. I was treading on a minefield and I had missed the warning sign.
The important thing is that I want to stop it as much as you do.
I directed my words at the human next to Resinen.
And we are willing to pay for it.
How much?
I had nearly forgotten the voice behind me. I hoped I hadn't visibly jumped, but the smirk on the blonde woman's face told me otherwise.
5 million Caparium shards up front and 10 million shards if you manage to fix our problem.
There was the slightest change in the blonde's face. I could swear her eyes got bigger.
And what is it that's causing your troubles?
I weighed my options.
A beast. The Cranier.
They might as well know now. Resinen frowned.
And you've knocked on our door because?
You've been on a rogue memory hunt for the last 5 moons. I'm sure you've encountered some monsters.
Well, there's more to it. You could have gone to anyone in the Vanguard, but you don't want to work directly with them. Isn't that right?
It wouldn't look good.
You do better than listen to rumors about us. No deal. Get out.
Wait!
The next warning barely missed me. It came so close I could feel its draft before it exploded in the railing behind me. The human's gun was smoking. Her metal fingers were wrapped tightly around the trigger. She reloaded the gun with a shaking hand. Resinen raised a knife. Its curve shone in the dim light. I stepped back. Guns might be more effective, but the knife would take longer, and I didn't want to know what she could do with such a weapon. I stumbled out of the door opening and almost fell down the stairs. I was embarrassed to admit that I started to run. I almost ran into a dog. It bared its teeth and barked after me as I ran the other way and hurled around a corner. Another turn led me into an alley full of trash cans. I halted. My breath came out in squeaks. But then, footsteps. I stood up straight, but a stitch in my side made me double over. Had they followed me? I hadn't even brought a weapon. Was I going to die down here? I began to back up. Perhaps I could hide among the trash. It wasn't Resinen who appeared.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Following you, of course.
Why?
Because you are stupid enough to leave without bodyguards. And stupid enough to run through the underground city dressed in your fancy city jacket, begging to get mugged. And you are even more stupid for showing your face to Resinen instead of sending someone else. Send me, a runner, anyone. Despite all your claims of brilliance, you can be incredibly dim-witted, you know that.
I shouldered past my cousin and walked out of the alley. I turned the corner and onto the platform to the stairs that would take me up to the surface. I took 2 steps at a time. I heard Sasha's footsteps behind me and quickened my pace.
I'm trying to help, Konstantin.
I stepped out into the upper city. The sun was particularly blinding today. Wind raged around me, blowing sand in my face. It tugged at my jacket and my hair, and I had to squint to find the way to the parking lot where my chauffeur was parked.
I know the ins and outs. I can help you.
Sasha caught up to me.
Why?
Why what?
I don't get why you're so invested in this. In all these politics, you're... Well, you don't have to do this.
No. Finish that sentence, Konstantin. What am I?
Well, you know, female.
I gritted my teeth against the oncoming storm. I regretted having forgotten my mask in the car.
I'm doing this because the other option is sitting in the house all day, playing dress-up and gossiping about the latest romantic affairs.
It's what Nadya does.
It's what Nadya makes you think she does.
I shook my head and turned onto the parking lot. My black car was the only one that seemed to be in any functioning shape. Most cars didn't even have tires nor windshields. My chauffeur drove the car off the parking space as soon as he saw us and jumped out to open the door. I interrupted him with a hand gesture and stepped into the car. Sasha followed into the car. I turned to my cousin. Her white hair was now covered with a layer of dust. If getting bored is the problem, I can find something for you to do. There are enough jobs at the corporation.
I'm actually good at this. I'm not going to be put away in some stuffy department just so you are rid of me.
I looked at her for a second. We'll have this conversation another time.
Home, sir?
No. Take me to the office.
Mr. van Leerkhoff, your father is busy.
The assistant tried to stop me from barging in. This is urgent. He'll want to hear this. I sounded more sure of my case than I actually was, but now was no time to doubt my plan.
What are you going to...
Stay here. I pushed the door to my father's office open. 2 associates were standing in front of his desk.
If it's against the labor laws, we are not losing. Konstantin.
My father's voice was measured, but there was a sharp edge to it.
Apologies, sir. I wouldn't disturb you if it wasn't important.
I would hope so. Out. Come back in 5 minutes.
He waved the 2 men away. One of them frowned at me before leaving the office and closing the door.
Where have you been all day?
It wasn't a question. My father spat out the words.
You said you were going to fix this. I'm bleeding money! And I can't have another strike on my hands. They are already nagging on about unionizing.
I opened my mouth.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I told you not to come back until you had a solution. And instead, I get word that you're hanging around in a dragonfly, wasting my time!
I need you to stop the rescue mission in the mines.
I spoke before my father could continue his rant. I kept his gaze.
I'm sure you have a reason for this.
I've spoken to Dr. Vilirth today. She has confirmed that they have found cranier eggs.
My father leaned back, assessing me. The slight frown on his forehead told me that he hadn't known. Good.
This poses a significant risk to the rescue operation. And those eggs can make up for the loss of money, likely more. I wish to secure the area.
In the silence, I felt my heart press against my throat. I fought the urge to wipe my palms on my pants. My father didn't react. His face was blank. I had been taught to do the same all my life, but now, I wished I had also been taught to read what thoughts my father hid.
You have a plan?
A very illegal plan involving very illegal people, I thought.
Yes, I have a plan.
Very well.
He folded his hands together on his desk. Something sparked in his eyes. Amusement, perhaps?
Alistair.
Although he didn't shout, his demanding voice reached beyond the room, because the door opened and one of the 2 men stepped back in.
Cancel the rescue mission.
The man paled.
But sir...
Do it!
His order rang through the office. Even I wanted to cower, but I kept my back straight. The man glared at me, disgust hid in the curve of his mouth. It was a look he wouldn't dare show his boss. Bile rose up in my throat. I looked away from him and stared at my father's desk.
Of course, sir. Anything else?
That's it. My assistant will reschedule our meeting, as you will be busy getting word to the rescue team.
Naturally, sir.
I didn't know if my father saw the twist of anger in the man's eyebrows. Kazimir smiled. Father looked at me. He was waiting for me to say something. I scrambled with the words, but I couldn't form anything coherent.
I have to...
Yes, you do. I trust you in this decision, Konstantin. Make sure that whatever this is you are doing, it is worth that trust. Do not embarrass me.
The threat wiped away any guilt I'd been feeling. It was now replaced by determination. This better work. Because if it didn't, I didn't want to think about that.
I won't, sir.
I stepped out of my father's office and barreled into Sasha.
Not now.
I walked past my father's assistant and into the hallway that led us to the stairs.
Are you insane? These are people, Konstantin!
She took my arm and pulled me back.
You can't let them die for your own gain!
Something snapped in me. My determination twisted into anger, and I grabbed Sasha by her throat, pushing her against the wall. Her head made a sickening thud as it collided with the bricks. Sasha blinked at me in pain, and behind that, fear.
I make these choices for good reason. You might think you know everything, but you have no idea how any of this works. All you do is watch from the sidelines and criticize me as if you are not a part of this family. As if you don't have the same blood on your hands. Your future is not on the line here.
Sasha's fury shone in her eyes. Her body was rigid, her fists clenched, but she remained silent. The assistant came around the corner. She stopped in her tracks, glancing at me and then at Sasha. I let go of her, but the assistant didn't say anything. She looked away and hurried past.
Stay out of my business. I have more important things to do than explain myself to you.
I didn't look at her. I didn't want to see the consequences of my actions. I stepped back and turned around, hesitating for a moment, and then fled down the stairs. I shut the bathroom door behind me and locked it. The room was big enough to hold several bathroom stalls, but instead, it held only one. And calling it a stall was an insult to the room. I turned my back to the wall-covering mirror and leaned against the counter. My hands were trembling. I pressed them against my eye sockets and kept pressing until I saw stars.
Good afternoon, listeners. It's 4:30 in the afternoon, and you are listening to the news on NVBC. This is your host, Heinz Metaal. Today, at 12 bells, part of the Von Leerkov mines collapsed after what is assumed to be an earthquake caused by an explosion in the mines. 12 miners are still stuck in one of the mine shafts. Late afternoon, a rescue mission was set up. However, due to the dangerous nature of the location and the possibility of another collapse, the mission has been halted for the time being. The Von Leerkov Mining Corporation has not yet been able to confirm if and when the rescue will be able to continue. They will, however, continue trying to get food and water to the miners and will resume the mission once it's deemed safe enough. That was the news on NVBC. On to you with the weather, Frida.
Good afternoon, I'm Frida Oblak, coming live to you from the new Vilirth Broadcast Center with the weather and traffic report. It's truly a calm before the storm. As we approach rain season, temperatures will continue to rise the upcoming week. We will face another bout of water shortages as we wait for the rain to start falling. The next few days will be warm and cloudless with temperatures of above 40 degrees Celsius. The end of the week brings the first rainstorms of the season. On the roads, you will find regular traffic as the afternoon changes into evening. If there are any changes, you will hear from me in half of a...
Long day?
Nadya turned down the radio volume and sat down in the opposite chair. She picked up my nearly cold mug of herbata. I slowly opened my eyes. Despite the late night, Nadya wore a long dark green dress. Her hair was done up, dark brown curls trailing down her face. Yet her mouth was turned into an ugly scowl. She took a sip from my herbata and set it down forcefully enough that the contents sloshed over the side of the mug and onto the saucer. Nadya picked up the piece of chocolate before it could drown in the herbata and popped it in her mouth. Long enough that I am not in the mood to play your games. I rubbed my brow.
Good. Because neither am I. What the hell are you doing?
I'm currently doing...
I had the doctor come for Sasha.
I looked away.
She said she dragged you out of the underground, and as a thank you, you slammed her into a wall. She had to get stitched up.
She didn't drag me. I tried to ignore the bile of guilt that rose in my throat.
But you were there. Alone. Are you...
I had my reasons, Nadya.
Of course. You need to impress your father, dearest. And apparently that gives you a free pass to throw your common sense out of the window.
She leveled my stare.
I need you to stay alive. Even if the only reason is so I can marry you instead of some shriveled lord who turns into an abusive donkey behind closed doors. Although, you have been behaving much like one yourself lately.
My cheeks burned. What do you want me to do then?
Quit putting yourself in these precarious situations.
She leaned forward.
You have no clue what those people are capable of, Konstantin. You're smart. You can think of something that doesn't involve you making a deal with those criminals.
I have. I shifted forward as well.
We need to help each other. If we don't, they'll take everything.
She reached out, holding her hand in front of me. I looked at her and, with some reluctance, laid my hand in hers. She squeezed it before getting up.
I'm going to bed. But you'll let me know if you need something, won't you? I don't need to explain to you that I can also pull some strings.
I nodded.
Tell Sasha you're sorry.
Nadya floated out of the room. I sunk back in my chair and stared at the small package of sugar drifting around in the flooded saucer. I was sitting in my desk chair. My lower back burned and my head protested against me as I scanned the pages in front of me. A beam of midday sun appeared, shining directly into my eyes. I got up to pull the curtains close. For a moment, I wandered around the room. I gathered a book from the coffee table and replaced it on my shelf. I found a speck of dust and blew it away. And then, when I could no longer find anything to straighten or to dust, I sat down. My cup of herbata was empty. I had it filled 5 times today, and the leaves didn't taste strong anymore. I also had enough for the taste, but I kept the bottle of moonshine closed for past sunset. An uneaten stew stood on the edge of my desk. It was cold. Yes, my butler stepped inside.
A message, sir, from Dr. Vieira.
She placed a note on my desk.
She called.
I nodded. The phone in my office had rung twice. I had ignored it. I took the note. My butler hovered beside my desk and glanced at the stew. Take it to the kitchen. I'm finished.
Would you like anything else, sir?
No. My butler picked up the platter of curry and left the room. I unfolded the piece of paper. 4 days was all it said. I had expected to hear from Rasanen by now. Perhaps not the same evening, but at least this morning or afternoon. Perhaps I hadn't properly assessed the influence the 2 humans had on Rasanen, or the effect the closure of the mines had on that 1 human. I picked up the phone and dialed the number.
Yes.
Are you sure those eggs are hatching? Can't we destroy them?
Yes, we are, and no, we can't.
We need a solution. Will it really get worse when the eggs hatch? They'll be babies, after all. Easy enough to kill, right?
Mr. van Leerkov, I'm not a biologist, but she certainly isn't going to be nicer with little cranies running around. I suggest you find a solution. I'm sure you have someone you can pay enough money to risk their life. Good afternoon, Mr. von Leerkov.
I woke up. I wasn't sure why. It was still dark outside. I rolled around to continue sleeping when I heard a soft creak. I shot up in my bed. A Dokkelfar stood in the corner, and I grappled for the gun in my nightstand.
Who are you? How the hell did you get in here?
Finally. I've been creaking that floorboard for ages. You have to be a particular type of filthy rich to feel that safe while you're sleeping.
The Dokkelfar pulled down her mask. It was Rhea Rassanen. Her face fell in the shadow of her hood, but her yellow eyes gleamed. I grabbed my housecoat from a hook and pulled it over my pajamas.
I'm available for meetings in the morning.
I still held the gun, but no longer aimed it at her.
I'd like a meeting now.
Rassanen sat down on the chair in the corner.
Right. We can talk in my office.
We'll talk here. Your office is too close to Miss Minayeva's room. Or is it Mrs. van Leerkova already? She's pretty when she sleeps.
I refrained from responding. I knew she was baiting me, but I wasn't awake enough to be sharp.
Sit.
Rassanen gestured to the bed. She crossed her legs and leaned back. I sat down on my bed and sank into the mattress. But despite that, I tried to sit as straight as possible, like I would in a business meeting. I loosened my grip on the gun.
What would you like to discuss?
I could make an educated guess. I watched Rassanen's careless demeanor change into something sharper.
I'm here to listen. To your deal.
You are? I fought a smug smile. I needed to keep her here, to listen. It had worked.
Ran into more money problems?
For a moment, I was sure she was going to attack. I lay my finger back on the trigger.
You're so easy to scare.
Her grin was more of a grimace.
I take the safety off before you fire.
You sneak into my home in the middle of the night. I have every right to be cautious.
Are you sure it isn't your guilty conscience?
Guilty of what?
I knew she wasn't going to admit how exactly I had manipulated her. Coming here must have taken a lot. Admitting that I had power over her by the simple act of talking to the right person was outright embarrassing for her. As we looked at each other, we were both aware of it, and I couldn't hide the triumphant look on my face.
I told you the deal. You fix my problem, and I will give you the money. Besides, you want those explosions to stop as much as I do.
7 million up front, and you'll reinstate the rescue mission in the mines, or no deal.
5 million, and I will reinstate the rescue mission in the mines after you have completed your end of the deal.
I won't do anything until you have gotten those workers out safely.
I'll send 5 extra squads to get them out. After you have finished this job, which happens before the week ends.
Send those squads before the end of tomorrow.
I stood up.
The end of the week.
You want that cranier dead, don't you? The end of tomorrow, or no deal.
Fine.
Keep that spot open for a meeting tomorrow. I'll be there to collect the money.
She walked over to the window. I watched her closely. Rassanen saluted me and slid open the stained glass with a smack. The glass rattled, nearly breaking a delicate piece of von Leerkov history.
Careful!
I took a step forward, but before I could get to her, she jumped.
Wake Up New Vilirth is created, produced and written by Lisa van Hees. Directed and co-produced by Iris-sanne van der Aar. Our brilliant team of voices consists of Liam van Poorten as Konstantin, Samantha Bonouvrie as Sasha, Yannick Staal as Kazimir, Fey Lehiane as Nadya, Sigrid van Setten as Rhea, Carré Albers as Willow, Swaeske Dooper-de Vries as Tuula, Lin Schalken and Daan Helmendach as our radio hosts, and Reno van Oostrum, Ezra Menard, and Isa Marley as our supporting voices. Sound recording by Lisa van Hees and Jonas van Impe. Sound design by Lode Woltersom. Music by Freya Terpstra and Teun Zeidner. Radio design by Joris van de Waterbeent. Directing assistance by Tom van Til. Production assistants by Demi Oude-Elverink, Femke Bruil, Robert Kersies and Isa Marley. And cover art by Matt Roodhuizen. For a full list of our wonderful team, go to wakeupnewvilirth.com. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed your stay.